sharing with you, Eric, I was telling you, when somebody apologizes to you, when you do something bad, and then maybe you do something bad, I do something bad to you, and I'm not talking about very huge things. And I apologize to you. Your responsibility is to accept my apology. Stop saying that.
Eric, can I answer
Stop
that,
saying
please?
it.
Can I?
This guy is
Emmanuel,
a rude man.
What do you mean, you?
What's
wrong with you guys?
Emmanuel, I need you to understand this. And
You're not
no. Listen, just hear me out. It is not my responsibility to forgive you or accept your forgiveness. I need you to understand that. Allow me and give me time. Stop pressuring your partner for things to go back to normal immediately. If you are willing or you want them to go back, give her time or give him time to process. To process what is happening. We are not the same, Emmanuel. You might think that if you say, I'm sorry, you're the people who Eric was saying, I am sorry, boss. These are the people.
Emmanuel,
Don't force. Give the person time.
Emmanuel, forgiveness does not mean reconnection.
Yes.
So, you as the offender, you need to learn that.
Yes.
That if you offend me, you don't again have a say-so about how I ought to act towards you.
Yes.
I can say, sour, cheers, I've forgiven you. And then I decide that I'll never do whatever.
Oh, no, I don't talk to you.
Forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection.
But is that true forgiveness?
Yes.
So
forgiveness is not folly. Forgiveness simply is. Forgiveness is actually, let me tell you, two things are very selfish for a man to do. Number one.
There are men who are known to do that.
Two things very selfish for a human being, not even a man, for a man to do. Number one, giving. Giving is very selfish because the giver feels more rewarded than the given. I feel best when I give. Number two is forgiveness. Forgiveness is so selfish that it's better for you to forgive than the person you're forgiving. So forgiving and giving
yourself.
are for me, the forgiver, not for you.
For your peace
how
of
about
mind.
accepting now my apology?
No,
It is not bad.
How I accept it is none of your business.
Yes.
I can accept it kneeling down, bending over, or flipping
Or
back.
keeping quiet.
that's a
but
recipe
out
for
of,
disaster.
So you
No,
cannot
it's not
come
a recipe.
again and start deciding
Emmanuel,
how I should
sometimes-
accept. That is rude.
It's a recipe for
No,
disaster.
no,
The
Emmanuel.
quicker you move on with this thing,
That's
depending
your problem.
on what you did. That's
No.
the disclaimer. Depending on what you did, the quicker you move on, the quicker your relationship heals.
If
Emmanuel.
I decide to heal the
Emmanuel,
relationship,
let's
if
give a practical example. There's a time you were sharing a story of someone you knew that they had cheated on the wife, and the wife had not forgiven him for 1 year. Well, there's someone else who can forgive their husband in a month and go back into the marriage and live. There are others who feel like, oh my God, that is the ultimate betrayal. We are not the same. Some people need time to forgive, and then there are people who might not even forgive you. They'll be like, you know what? It's okay, it's done. I'm putting this aside, but I am no longer going to be with you. So it depends. Do not think that if you don't think because you offended me, and don't think because you've apologized that it is automatic that you get back in the good
So
books.
what Jesus said when someone asks for
Excuse
forgiveness,
me, yes.
you forgive. So he said that.
We are
Eric.
not-
Yes, but
Eric.
forgiveness is not now for the person who aggrieved me to come and tell me how I should forgive.
Yes.
I have just told you now, forgiveness does not mean reconnection. A reconnection simply could be that every Saturday at 2 a.m. we were hanging out. But now I've forgiven you and I don't want to see you ever again. That I've still forgiven you.
But depending on what I did, it's a minor thing.
No,
you can forgive quickly.
what the offender
There
needs
is
to have
no
in mind.
degree of
Whatever it is, there's no
whatever,
level.
yes.
Whatever.
That is why you should be very careful about breaking trust, because trust takes away the thing that initially was.
Yes.
All right. So you cannot offend me, then come around and say I've betrayed your trust, but these are the ways you are going to.
Let me tell you,
Because-
guys.
because-
Let me tell you, Barbara, especially you, Barbara.
What?
You know, when I was, when you're in a relationship, like myself, when you're married, sometimes because you see, you're married to a human being. Sometimes you can do a very nasty thing, and then you come home and your spouse tells you, "I'm sorry." Like they're telling you. And they're weeping and they're shedding tears and saying they are sorry.
Crocodile,
So you're scaring Eric, huh? So this person is actually crying and saying, "I'm sorry." They are genuinely sorry from their heart. So the best thing that you can do for them, for the sanity of your marriage, and that's what I've said. Depending on what you did, if they did something that is not so heinous, maybe they blundered.
You
can forgive.
Change depending on what they did too. It is solely on the person who's been offended.
So I'll just
about
carry
how-
my offense, and this person has said sorry.
That
Why
is
are you
what
behaving like a
happens.
toddler
You
who wants to be
cannot come-
forgiven?
I was watching something. I think about 5-7 years ago. There's a Canadian mayor who was caught peddling drugs and sniffing coke. All right. And then he was taken through Congress and they were telling him to step down. And he was refusing. And he was being asked questions. You know about Canada and how we feel about drug trafficking. So you broke the law, didn't you? And it's like, yeah. Then you have to resign because you don't qualify as a person of integrity to sit in that office. And he just went berserk. He was just like, no, I will not resign. Finally, he was forced to resign. But why I'm telling this story is that how people treat you after you've offended them has got nothing to do with, you don't have a say so.
Yes.
That is not your prerogative. All you can do is exercise empathy, sympathy, and repeatedly
and
so say sorry.
patience.
After considering all your options as the person betrayed, all right, it is okay if you do not want to continue the relationship.